Okay, so the trial of Sean Combs, P. Diddy, is over. He has been acquitted of racketeering, that's the RICO count, and 2 counts of sex trafficking by coercion or force. But he was convicted of 2 counts of engaging in interstate transportation for the purposes of prostitution. So what does this mean in terms of a sentence? Allow me to explain. I'm Molly. I'm a federal criminal defense lawyer, and if an attorney doesn't practice in federal court, they likely don't know how to break down federal sentencing. Let's get into it. Okay, so the 2 counts of conviction are violations of 18 United States Code, Section 2421, subsection A2. And the first thing you need to understand is that all sentences in federal court are essentially governed by the United States sentencing guidelines. The judge, the parties go through this process where the guidelines are determined, an advisory sentencing range in months is determined, and then the parties can argue for whatever they consider to be a reasonable sentence. The other thing you need to know is that there is no mandatory minimum for violations of 18 United States Code Section 2421A2. And to determine a sentence for this offense, you have to go to the United States Sentencing Guidelines, Chapter 2, Section 2G 1.1. I believe that the sentencing calculation under 2G 1.1 is pretty low. Basically, Sean Combs, P. Diddy, is going to start at a level 14 under this guideline. And there are circumstances where the court could have added 4 levels if there was force or coercion in the case. But here, because he was acquitted, I think, of the sex trafficking by force or by coercion, there is a recent amendment to the guidelines that says the judge can't consider acquitted conduct. So I don't think he's going to get those 4 levels. I think he's going to be at a level 14. Now, there is a special instruction under this guideline that if there is more than 1 victim, you go to Chapter 3 and you address multiple counts, kind of like the grouping rules. So here we might see a couple of levels added because we know he has 2 counts with 2 different victims described in the indictment. So let's say his total offense level is somewhere between perhaps like a 14 or a 16, depending on the multiple counts grouping rules in Chapter 3. The other thing you have to calculate is Sean Combs, P. Diddy's criminal history category. We know he has the conviction that he pled guilty to for the domestic violence against Cassie in California, but at most that's probably just a 1-point or a 2-point offense. I don't think he has any felony convictions, so he's likely in criminal history category 1. So then when you go to the sentencing table and compare his offense level to his criminal history category, when we look at those who are in criminal history category 1 and levels 14, 15, and 16, you can see that we're looking at sentences that range from about a year and a few months, a year and a half, to 2 years, 2.5, depending on those grouping rules. So this is certainly a situation where his attorneys can ask for time served.